Now, what is capacity at Transition House?
25 individuals, we can house up to 25.
Okay. And those people are all going to be getting the life skills training. They're going to be talking about, you mentioned credit as well. And are these people that have never had credit, or are these people who have just completely fallen on hard times? They've lost their homes or what have you? And is credit management part of a program that you're teaching them as well?
Well, budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Budgeting.
extensive credit management,
Okay.
just
Yeah.
budgeting.
It's just learning to live within their means.
That's something we could all learn.
Yeah, no kidding. And there are organizations out there that will help individuals. We'll do referrals if they need to have someone to be a trustee or whatever. And Salvation Army and the Help Center provide those types of services for our clients. So, and that's where the membership comes into is agencies and organizations to become members so that we can do more referrals and to help assist the clients to go further.
Now, is there a trending? Are you getting more people on employment insurance as well? You don't have to be on social assistance to be homeless, right?
No, you do not have to be on social assistance. We get people that are on unemployment. We get people that are already working. We get individuals that have been recently laid off from work, and there's a lot of those right now. And those who are on ODSP. So it covers almost everybody.
Yeah. Now, are you seeing specific trending with the way the economy is going right now? Are you seeing more families, or are you seeing more individuals at Transition House?
Actually, more individuals than we are families.
Okay.
I think with the recent layoffs and the companies that have been closing, I think at this point they're finding other accommodations at this point. But I think if things continue to be the way they are, we'll see an increase in the family situations within the house.
There's no rhyme or reason as to how busy we are. Like you would have thought over this bad winter that we'd be full every day, whereas it was this past summer we were full every day type of thing, but not just now. So,
and it's really hard to figure out why that is.
Yeah, and so it's difficult for us to do budgeting, because 1 month you've got $18,000 coming in for accommodation for people, and then the next month you might only have $10,000 coming in, but you still have the 18,000.
Well, your funding is based on occupancy, isn't
That's
it?
right,
So
per diem.
Exactly. So if you have 10 people 1 month and 20 people the next month, you may not have the money to cover the 20 people the following month because of the way the
So
per
we
diem
must
funding is.
have a nest egg there at all times.
Wow, that's got to be quite a huge.
There is quite a few months where we do not meet our
Budget,
expenses.
yeah.
It can be anywhere from an $8,000 to $10,000 shortfall on some months, but then you have the months that make up for those shortfalls. So we are continually looking for sources of funding. We just recently received some funding through the Trillium Foundation, and that was to do to awareness in the community. So we've been working on that. And that's what this was all about too, is getting out.
Does Transition House offer outreach program as well? So you've transitioned from Transition House, you've found a place. Is there still some assistance that can be provided to those individuals through Transition House, or is it just a matter of referring them to the appropriate agencies?
Well, it's more a referral, I think.
Well, that is a new program that we did just recently started up.
outreach, yeah.
And what we do is we will go out if they need our assistance. We will go out within, after the first month of them being away from Transition House. We also leave the door open for them to come back to us. And most of them are prefer to come back to us and get information that they need rather than us going to their place. I think it's a little less threatening for them. So we do have an outreach program that they can come back at any time and find out any information that they may need.
Well, Bill, where are these people coming from for the most part? Are they from Cobourg? Are they from Port Hope? Are they from the entire county?
They're from the entire county and beyond.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting
They
people from...
come down from Peterborough.
Yeah.
We're finding that a lot of individuals have gone outside of the community and have, for whatever their reasons may be, lost their jobs or whatever, are coming back into the community for family support that are homeless. So we're getting quite a few people that are coming back in, as far away as St. Catharines, Fort Erie.
Now, you did a presentation recently to Northumberland County with regards to Transition House. How did that go?
We haven't heard
Back yet.
the great percentage of increase that we're going to be getting yet. It's all in the budget process at
So
the
that
county.
meeting was mostly about funding from the county then?
Yes, and we did a complete background of which they're very familiar because we've been around, for these years, and it's just that we've expanded our service to include men. Before it all seemed to be ladies and children, and that's one of the ways or reasons I got on the board is when they decided to include single men or fathers. That they thought there should be some male board members.
So let's go back 10 years. Take us back to the beginning of Transition House. I mean, it sounds to me like it may have, and I could be way off the mark here, but it sounds to me like initially you were taking overflow from Northumberland Services for Women.
No, we do
Okay.
not take in women that are coming out of family violence.
Okay.
If we get a phone call from those individuals, we will do referrals to NSW or Alderville. Both those shelters are available.
We
for
won't see them without assistance.
that. If those shelters are full, we will take them in with the hopes that we can transfer them over to those shelters. And that's mainly because we do not do in-house counseling.
Okay.
Northumberland Services for Women do in-house counseling, and at that point in time, these women do need that type of counseling.
Oh, indeed.
Right, for sure.
Well, they and their children.
Yeah.
So how did Transition House start? When did the decision come about to say, you know what, we need this in our community? I mean, I know it's been 10 years. What was the first step? Can you give us an idea on that?
Well, the first step was to find somewhere to have it, first off. But it was because they did an assessment and found that NSW wasn't able to help a lot of the women that were homeless because they were not coming out of abuse.
So they didn't fit the criteria.
They didn't
for
fit the
NSW.
criteria for that. So that was when they, the original people that put Transition House together decided that we need some type of other shelter for these women that are obviously out in the cold. So that is when they decided that we would rent a unit on George Street and open the doors for single women.
So initially it was a rented unit.
Yes, it was.
Now
Yes,
this
it
house
was.
on Chapel Street is owned by Transition
We
House?
now own that building, yes.
Okay. Is there any thought into maybe purchasing more properties to try and expand the service that you have, or is
At
there
this
a
point-
need at this point?
Well, at this point, financially, we need to be making sure that we're okay where we are before we look at trying to grow. I don't know if it's necessary to have another shelter in any part of the Northumberland County, but a larger facility would probably be ideal to house the individuals that we have now with being co-ed. It's a full-time job just trying to make sure that everything is running smoothly.
And then being
So-
boys and girls that are staying out of each other's rooms.
Well, pretty much. But we get a lot of young people from the ages of 16 to 21. So I mean, that's an ongoing issue that we're trying to make sure that everything is above board.
Well, when you get someone who's 16 to say 18 years old and they've left home for whatever reason, I mean, is there counseling that? I mean, you said you don't do counseling in-house, but is there a situation where you sit down with this individual and say, maybe you'd be better off to go back home, or maybe to figure out if the issues at home were maybe a little more exaggerated than they really are? Are you finding that kids who've left home before 18 are now saying, well, maybe I made a mistake?
No.
No.
Between the ages of 60, they have to, we cannot take anybody under the age of 16.
Okay.
So we then become the responsible adult when they come into the house. So what has to happen is that we will go with them to social services, Ontario Works, and become their responsible adult while they're in the house. So it means that we have to make sure they're going to school, abiding by the rules and what have you. We do sit down with them and try to convince them that they, at home is probably the better bet, but it depends on what their circumstances are, whether they've just left or whether they've been asked to leave home. So those are all looked through social services. They were the ones that will contact the parents, find out if they can go back home or whether they're not, depending on their circumstances
There could
there.
be conflict or whatever.
But as far as the rules at home are probably far better than the rules at our place because the curfews are very strict. For anybody between the ages of 16 and 18, their curfews are 8 o'clock during the week and 10 o'clock on the weekends. We have a zero tolerance for alcohol or drug use while they are there. Anybody over 18, their curfew would be 10 o'clock during the week and 12 o'clock on the weekends. There's certain times for bed. We're very, very, very strict. So a lot of the young individuals between the ages of 16 and 18 really don't last a long time in the house, because they do find out that the rules are a lot stricter than what they are at home.
You
Well, I'm
don't
gonna-
mess with
Diane.
Diane, it sounds like she runs a pretty tight ship. I'm going to leave
The last word with you, though, Bill, because we're going to be going to a bit
Yes.
of a break in a moment. But what is it you'd like to see for 2009 for Transition House?
I'd like to see the ability for us to afford to serve the people that we are serving to the best of our ability.
Well, that sounds like a noble effort. If you're interested in volunteering at Transition House, by the way, folks, you can call 905-377-0378, or you can contact them by email at transitionhouse@belnet.ca.